and thank you for joining us today on the Road to Recovery. I'm your host, Ronda Jackson, serial entrepreneur and small business advocate. And today joining us, Miss Beneca Griffin, CEO of Moments of Focus. Welcome, Beneca.
Thank you so much, Rhonda, for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. When I think about the turmoil and the air of uncertainty that business owners are in right now, I just look to you as a resource. You've always been very uplifting and been one to share grace and integrity and courage with women business owners as well as others. And I just thought that you would be a really great addition to the show. So thank you for being here.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It's my joy.
You're welcome. So for those of us that aren't as familiar with you and your lovely works, Beneca, if you would share with us a little bit about you and Moments of Focus, please.
Yes, I am a branding expert. I am an international speaker and an author. My company, Moments of Focus, provides professional branding, leadership development. We work with Fortune 100, 500 companies, helping them to create really great professional partnerships with their senior level executives and their staff. We also work with professional athletes, helping them to build their companies, build their brands. We work with community stakeholders. So it really is about helping people to develop their professional, their personal brand and into a business.
Okay, very good. And see, and the emerging and established business owners that are tuned in with us today want to know more about structuring, and I'm going to call it building guardrails on the road to recovery, right? Mm-hmm. So how you know when you're operating in that space of genius, how you know when you're operating in that space of purpose. And so that's what today's conversation is going to be about.
Wonderful.
So one of the ways that I like to start the show is I like to ask guests for one word that they would use to describe where we are now. What word would you use?
I would absolutely use the word intentional. I mean, we are in a space where you have to be intentional and then you get to be intentional. Never have we been in a space like we are right now, where you have to think about, what about the steps that I'm making today? What steps do I need to make tomorrow? Where can I really take what I have intentionally? How are my strategies lining up intentionally in every single step, every single conversation? Because it's so important that we are really being forced or positioned to do exactly what we need to do.
Very much so. I really appreciate that. So with that same intentionality, I guess my first question, if you don't, can we start the discussion?
Please.
Okay. My first question, what is a moment of focus?
A moment of focus is a full assessment in whatever it is that you're doing. When we're working with businesses or our clients, it's about taking everything that you thought that you wanted to do and put it up on the wall, and then let's figure out what you really want to do, how you can do it, what the strategy is, and how it's aligned with your purpose. Because, we know that we can get a great job or we can have a great business, but if it's not the business that is from who we actually are, it may last, but it doesn't really last for us. It doesn't make us feel happy. So taking a moment to really focus on and building the ground of what I really want to do and how do I multiply gifts from what I really want to do.
Okay, so I like that. So we're taking all of our internal possibility. Right?
Yes.
Right. Everything.
Yes.
All down, mapped out, and some of it will stay from what I'm understanding what you're saying.
Yes.
And some of it we might have to rein back and put off for a later date.
Right.
So I know a lot of business owners have been working, so using that methodology, and how would I apply that as a business owner? So I understand that we're mapping out, we're doing the strategy, but I also know, let me just go ahead and share this, that you have a book around these moments of focus. And in some of our discovery and conversation, we found that there were some key principles that support business owners in that air of uncertainty and clearing that, creating that strategy and the planning. So let's talk a little bit about growth. So from the book, we have the area of growth, right?
Yes.
What would you say is our first step or a moment or something to reflect on in that moment, thinking about growth?
I mean, there are two that come to mind. The first one is a miracle cannot be contained in a box. We have to take that traditional thinking and put it to the side when we're really talking about expanding, because expansion is looking at the possibilities. And then the other moment that I would say from the book is be prepared to sharpen your pencil. A pencil, it may be dull, but then when you have to go through something in order to become sharp. And then as you write, you become more dull. And be prepared to continuously sharpen your pencil so that you're always prepared for when the moment comes for you to do what it is you set out to do.
I like that. So that's continuous. So even in the non-challenging times, because there's no time when that pencil might dull, So
Right.
we're constantly sharpening it, constantly creating new energies around what it is that we do. I like that. I like that.
Yes.
So
Thank you.
another principle that you shared with me in our pre-talk was about around opportunity. Can you talk a little bit about that principle?
Really is focusing on, as a business, why wouldn't I be able to do it? Why not? You know, especially with business owners who are already moving and you're looking at your expansion, why doubt what can be done when, one, you've already done something that you can build upon? But it's a miracle. It's there is no limit on what you can do. You just have to put the vision and the structure to what it is that you're looking to do. Put your strategy toward what you're looking to do. You have to know what you want to do. Because when my clients come, the hardest part is really putting together their company decks. That's one of the things that we do. And before we start talking about anything, we start focusing on what are all the possibilities.
Okay.
And that's the hardest part.
Okay. So you're referring to the company deck, that's, most people have a deck or a capability statement or some sort of portfolio of what
Yes.
their offering is. So based on that. So now how do we explore that deck? Like, what should we be looking for? So if I am design and construction, for example, how do I piece apart to see those possibilities? Without, are you telling me to add a bunch of new things? Do I now want to go into fish tanks and
No, no, I would say for design, you would say, Beneca, my company is a design company. And I would ask you, what are all the possibilities that you personally are interested in going into? So if you're telling me that, I design homes. Okay, so you design homes. So what are you looking to do? Somebody might say, well, I design homes, but I also want to design furniture down the way, because in my experience of designing homes, I found that I cannot find certain things that I'm looking for my clients. So it's a personal love for me. It's an extension of something that already meets my mission. And we always focus on your mission. What is your personal, professional, company mission? And it needs to all blend within that space. So for Moment to Focus, our mission is to make sure that we are helping other people multiply their gifts. Right. So if it does not focus on that, we don't do it. So whether or not it's the executive advising, whether or not it's the books, whether or not there are other services, everything has to go underneath that particular mission of helping people multiply their gifts and creating a brand that works for their purpose.
I think you just grew me in that conversation just right there. That was absolutely beautiful. So if we align these, because I keep hearing all this talk about pivot and pivot and pivot, and I'm getting dizzy. I'll just
yes. Many pivots. Right.
But what I hear you saying is that if we have this unifying mission and we look for things to create in our business, even if they are considered new or some line of business that we're not necessarily in, that we still have that higher point of reference with our mission.
Yes, yes, I was going to say that is the thing. You have to outline your yeses and your nos.
Okay.
Because if you can outline, this is what I will not do and this is what I will do. If you can identify your nos, then you know that no matter what offers come, because when you're great as an interior designer, people are going to come to you with thoughts of what they think that they want to partner with you on. But if you've already identified that's not on my deck, that's not something that I want to do, then it really cuts out the time, and you can be very specific with adding things that only fit within your company's mission.
I understand. I like that. And that keeps you from looking too random, right?
Right.
There's offerings and things.
Right.
And it sounds like that there's a bigger opportunity for things to grow as you build on things from your mission. From that.
Yes. I mean, our program, one of our signature programs, Intern to VP, it is a program that we offer to corporations, but it also is a program that we offer to universities. It's also a program that we do for high school students. We just did a session for Harvard Westlake for the Intern to VP Youth and Business program. So it's about identifying what do I have and how can I multiply in the vein of what it is that I'm already doing.
Okay. All right. And then sounds like sometimes it's not even far off. You're just creating a version of it for a different market or segment.
Exactly.
I love that. So refining our products and services to meet our company mission. So that also sounds to me like there's an editing process, because you said that there are some notes. So there are things that we might currently be doing that are actually opposite of what we say that our mission is. Can you talk a little bit about that?
I love that. Yes, that's that moment of focus. That's that first moment of focus when you're assessing, because there are things that you may be saying that you're going to do that, I always say what I do at the end of the day is professional therapy. And so it allows you to really assess. There are things that people have been saying that they're going to write, books that they're going to write, things that they're going to do that they really don't want to do, but it's been on their mental list for so long. So it's assessing, these are the things that I actually want to do, and now I can fine tune, and now I can go, and now I can partner. So when you fine tune, it's like you develop your seed, and once you develop your seed, then it'll grow in all these different spaces that are within the seed, not that are outside the seed.
I love this. Okay, so but wait, you said a key word there. You said
Yes.
partner.
Yes.
Partner. So now we have our mission.
Yes.
We created these products and services that align with that mission. So where does partnership come into that?
Okay, so partnership is everything, because you're providing a service, but who are you providing the service for? Most people think within their business it's about individuals. So for Moments of Focus, the book, for instance, yes, it is it is something for individuals, but we're also partnering with prisons, because there's a prison work ministry that needs to be done. So I could say, yes, it's for individuals, but we're also partnering with sports leagues, chaplains for that particular project. Because so it's who needs it, how can I serve it at its highest for people who are going to do it. And I think that's one of the things that business owners have a hard time with, is not understanding that I'm servicing someone, but I got to figure out who needs it, and I'm going to partner with them. I don't have to do what they do, I just need to feed them on what it is that I do, so that we can multiply. Same thing with Discover the Brand of You. On the corporate side, we partner with other corporations to be able to feed them on the selection of the menu that they don't have.
I understand. I understand.
Yes.
And I love that offering, but I still hear that servitude is still a underlying theme for you. So I really like that.
Yes.
So what would you say? Okay, so I've got two questions. I'm gonna ask the first one.
Okay.
What would you say is every business owner's action item after hearing this message, right? After understanding that they have a mission and the things that they're doing, pivot or not, need to align with that mission. What action step would you tell every, established or emerging business owner to take today?
I would say that they really need to go back and really assess where they've been and where they're really planning on going. Because again, from my perspective, working with business owners, oftentimes they're doing what they said they would do, not what they want to do.
Okay.
And so I always say life is a class, and your salary is your tuition for your life. So yes, you've built this business, and yes, it's done great, but what else? What's next? And how can you use what you've already had to expand? Look at it like a class. Now, how can I go over here with what I had? Let me take the great things from what I learned, and now let me expand into what I actually want to do. But most people don't give themselves permission to do what they really want to do, because they branded themselves as A instead of the extension of A.
Okay. All right. I love it. So the prerequisites, I love this pointing out that and for a lot of us, we've already done them. It's just, checking the box and taking credit for them. And then I always looked at my electives as my fun.
Yes.
So.
Yes. But the classes should be the fun classes. Right. It's what you actually want to do. And I would say for those businesses that are super established, they know exactly what it is that they want to do. Make sure people understand who you are, because I always say it's not really about who you know, it's about who knows you.
Okay.
And so when people know what you do, you have a brand. When someone will say, there's a woman in LA who ... It's your job to fill in the ... because if they can say there's a woman in LA, they may not know your name, but they know your brand. Okay. So make sure you establish who you are in your industry. Take it to the next level.
I love that. I love that. So then my second question was, and now I'm really excited to ask you this question. So for those of us that want more, that we're emerging, we're established, we want to go from, one to the other or into overdrive, and we want to connect with you, we want to read or buy the book. Where do we go? Where should we look?
You can definitely look at momentsoffocus.com. That is our company website, momentsoffocus.com. And for the book, it's momentsoffocusbooks.com.
Okay, lovely. Well, thank you again for joining us. I appreciate you sharing. This has been very enlightening, to say the least, but also the fact that you've given us some parameters to really think about ourselves, I guess, out of the frenzy. A lot of us have stabilized our business, and on the road ahead, what we have to look forward to. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Rhonda.
Oh, you're very welcome.